Hey, what's up guys? It's Tom B from Be Wise Outdoors, and today I'm going to talk to you about the must-have essentials to go razor clamming on the Washington coast. Alright, first and foremost, you're going to have a clamming license. You can get those at a variety of stores: Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, Walmart, Ace Hardware. You can even purchase them online through the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Any angler or fisherman who's 15 years and older must have a license on them while they're out clamming, and you also must have it when you're transporting your clams. That's the requirement. You got to have it. Don't be caught without it. Otherwise, there's huge fines and it's just not worth it. All right, next I'm going to talk to you about the equipment needed to actually get the clams out of the ground and into your hand. All right, first I'd like to talk about a clam shovel. All right, these can be purchased. They run about anywhere from $20 to $30. This one just happens to be from Danielson. It can be purchased at Walmart, Ace Hardware. There are other companies that make them, but it's not like your normal shovel. As you'll see, there's an angle to it, and I'll go over this more in depth. I'll actually be showing you in a future video on how to use this to dig for a clam. All right, next, another affordable thing that you can use while out razor clamming is a PVC razor clam gun. All right, this one, it's got a simple handle and a tube at the top. You push this down into the ground where your razor clam is. You hold your thumb over the tube and you pull it out. As soon as you let go of your finger over the hole, your clam slides out and you can harvest your clam. All right, it's another inexpensive way. And it's actually easier for beginners to use than the clam shovel. Alright guys, another type of clam gun is the metal clam gun. This one happens to be aluminum. They come in aluminum like this one, and they also come in steel. When I first started out clamming, I didn't know anything about it. I actually went and bought one that was made out of steel. And no matter how many times I rinsed the inside and tried to get it clean, it never did, and it eventually rusted out and kind of just fell apart. If you look at the inside of this, you can see that it's clean. I've used it all for the last 2 seasons, and it's a good gun. It doesn't rust out, and it's again similar to the PVC style, except for you'll see underneath there's a little vent hole. You push this down into the ground. All right, then you cover your finger over the vent hole, you lift this back out, and out comes your clam. And again, I will be going through and showing you how to use these in a future episode. And another important thing is appropriate clothing. All right, you've got to be able to be dressed for the elements. And let me tell you, on the Washington coast, the elements will be there. Just this weekend coming up is expected rain, wind, large swells. So you've got to be able to stay dry and you've got to be able to stay warm. Now, as you get going and you're digging the clams, you will start to break a sweat. You will warm up. So you want to make sure that whatever material you are using, it's breathable and it's ventable. And that will solve the problem of perspiring underneath them. All right, guys, the next thing you're going to want to have is something to put the clams in as you're harvesting them. Now, when I first started out, I went very basic. I went and got a simple Walmart bag, okay? Now, there's drawbacks to the Walmart bag. One is it rips kind of easily, so if you do happen to damage the clam as you're digging for it, the shells will actually end up ripping a hole, and kind of towards the end of your clamming day, they might be falling out. The other thing is you're not able to rinse the clams off once they're inside the bag. But it is an affordable and cheap way to store your clams while you're out there harvesting. All right, next, this is a 3-gallon bucket. Again, you can put your clams inside of it. It can also be used to carry other things while you're out there clamming. Some items that you might want down on the beach with you. But the beautiful thing is when you're done for the day, you put a little water in it, you kind of swish it around, you dump the water out, and you've got your clams pretty cleaned up for the ride home. Now, what I use is a simple mesh bag. They come in a variety of styles. This one is black. They come in green. They come in blue. They come in all kinds of ways. It's got a belt loop on it, so as you're out there clamming, you've got this hooked to your belt. You get your clam, you reach down, you grab your clam, you throw it inside there, and you keep moving. All right. The great thing about it is because you can see through it, you can make sure that you keep in count, because you are allowed 15 clams. You don't want to go over, and you definitely don't want to be under and leaving the beach with only 14 or so when you could have had your 15 and limited out. The best part about this type of bag is as you're finished up for the day, you've got your 15 clams, you can count them in here, you simply undo it from your belt, you walk down to the water and you just swish the clams through the water and it cleans them right off. And you get about 95% of all of the sand off of your clams. All right, so the mesh bag, it's my recommendation and it's the way to go. All right, the next thing that you'll want to make sure you have while you're out there razor clamming is some type of light source. Now, you can use headlamps, you can use flashlights, and you can use lanterns. By far, in my experience, the best thing to have out there is a lantern. It's just going to be able to illuminate the clam shows much better, and you're going to be able to see where the clams are while you're digging. You can set the lantern down, you can do your dig, you can pull it out, you can recover your clam and lift your lantern up, all much easier than with like a headlamp or a flashlight or something like that. Most of the tides in the wintertime are going to be dark. You know, the sunset it is definitely much earlier in the wintertime. So you lose light a lot faster, and a lot of the evening clam tides, the low tides, are when it's hours of darkness. So just make sure you got a light source. And with that, another useful tip, you might want to mark your vehicle, because it's going to be dark sometimes when you're done clamming, and there's going to be, you're going to look back where all the vehicles are parked up there on the beach, and there's going to be 100 vehicles, and you don't know if you've walked down the beach while looking for your clams, or you've kind of become misorientated. You might not know where your vehicle is. So one tip is to get some chem lights or some flashlights or some type of strobe light. You can put it in the dash of your vehicle, or fix it to your vehicle's antenna, and that way when you're looking back there and you see 100 cars, you can spot yours and get back to your rig in a quick fashion. You're not wandering around the beach trying to figure out where you are. All right, guys, the last thing we're going to talk about is some miscellaneous items that you definitely want to take, or it's my recommendation that you have while you're out razor clamming. The first is a cooler to put your catch in. It could be anything, just, you know, the razor clams, they're probably around 6 inches long, so you want to make sure that you've got something that'll hold 15. A small lunch type cooler will hold it. We usually go a little bit larger because each of my family members will put our mesh bag, remember the mesh bag? We'll put each one inside of there, so there'll be one for myself, and then 2 for my sons, 1 for my wife, and 1 for my daughter, and that's how we'll travel home. So a cooler, something to keep them cold, is recommended. All right, next, some trash bags. Okay, remember I talked about earlier about if you get wet or your clothes become damp from the rain or whatever. So, you know, get a couple of trash bags, some kitchen bags or whatever you have. Throw your wet clothes in one, and then the other thing you can do, if you get the large trash bags or some large lawn bags, you can actually take and stick your clam gun down inside of it, because you're going to have sand in it. There's no way to get it all off before you travel home. So that way you can keep the inside of your vehicle clean. Just kind of another helpful tip. Lastly, you're going to want to make sure, or at least what I've done recently in the last few years, is I've kept some 1-gallon milk jugs. As we finish drinking them, we rinse them out, we keep them, and when we go to the ocean, we'll actually, I will go down and I'll fill a few of those full with ocean salt water. Now the reason why I do that is when I get back, I've got my cooler, it's got my clams inside of it. I will dump those a few gallons of salt water in on top of that. It keeps the clams alive. Now the reason being is when I get home, it's usually late at night, you know, 8, 9 o'clock at night, depending on how, when the tide was and when we finish clamming for the night. But what we'll do is that I'll have that small thin layer of ice, and I'll dump in, you know, 4 or 5 gallons of salt water in there. over top of those clams, and I will set it outside. Okay? And the next morning when I wake up, those clams have recycled all that salt water, and the inside of the clams is virtually salt-free. Try it out, see if it works for you, and good luck. I hope these tips help out on your next razor clamming adventure and get you pointed in the right direction.
Alright guys, here's a recap of what we went over. If you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave comments below. Appreciate you watching. Until next time, good luck.